The department that want to take away your rights. But you know what? It's the department that want to take away your rights.
That's what it's called. The department that wants to take away your rights.
Senator head injury Herschel, everyone.
He's not senator yet. Don't give him that title.
Head injury Harry's brother. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to deal with this Cain and Abel situation, because we have, in truth, we've let that go a really long time. I mean, I don't want to critique, but it feels like something we should have addressed before.
Excuse me, my dog has just stolen my good sneaker. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
What? What are you doing? You're running away from the Stephanie Miller show?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That's what Herschel does to people. Yeah. She had to run away.
Right.
Yes, she couldn't even sit here and listen to this crazy anymore. This is what I want people to understand is race. White people have not cornered the market on crazy, ignorant, stupid, and/or prejudice.
Right.
Okay? No.
She's never going to make it to visit her mom.
That market. And I will say that this is of people who would be, I think, classified as possible biscuit makers. Herschel.
I didn't miss biscuit talk, did I? Because that's the whole reason I did that.
You got back just in time for biscuit talk.
I was saying.
Yeah, we don't even let him in the kitchen.
No.
I can't do biscuit talk, but I can be the little white kid troublemaker that encourages them to do it.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. Yeah. This is the thing. Let's look back at Kanye. Let's look at the usage of black people of a certain, and I'm going to say mentally, people who are having issues and them being used by Republicans is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
And, and we can call it this or that, but the fact that this man is being utilized, and we're talking about the department that takes things away. He can't even articulate a policy.
Oh, no, he did. Department of, what we call it? He wants a department of men looking at women that are looking at social
women
media.
On the social medias and the whole Cain and Abel situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's really disheartening to me is how often, that people are recording that, playing it. They're going to hear more of that than they are going to hear of what President Biden did this week.
Yeah.
They're going to hear more of that than about what Beto said. They're going to hear more of that than things that are actually about doing something.
I just was
and
saying
it's being sold as if this is an option who should be in Congress making policy for people. He can't put two words together.
And I was saying to you guys on text, I was like, what, doesn't this show really how deeply racist this party is? They're like, Raphael Warnock, we have a black guy. Like, I mean, I was saying to you, I've met Raphael Warnock. I mean, he is as impressive as you would think he is, both as a reverend and a senator and a person. He is the exact 80-degree opposite of Herschel Walker. And it's just, but you're right. That is that is the offensive thing, that they think he is fit to serve in the Senate. I mean, oh my God!
I'm still trying to figure out how Cain and Abel, if they're on TikTok or Instagram.
I
looking at what
I don't know.
Are you looking for them on TikTok?
I know.
They're still on. They're on Friendster. They're still way back there.
Oh, the early ones.
This is what did I say earlier? It's just they are a party that has become about cheating. Right?
Yeah.
This is what Donald Trump has wrought. Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Angela V. Shelton of the Detroit Sheltons. She may have a far easier path to re-election in Michigan after the GOP frontrunners were kicked off the ballot for botched election fraud schemes. Two of the leading candidates for the GOP nomination for Michigan governor say they will ask the courts to intervene after they were found ineligible for the August primary. They recommended they be disqualified, the state elections bureau, because they found thousands of fraudulent signatures on petitions submitted. And this is happening with Republican candidates all over the place. Like, they don't know what to do but cheat. What's that?
And at every level of government. I know several congressional races that are going on right now in Michigan where the Republican top leading candidates, they've also been kicked off the ballot for having fake signatures. See, there's two problems at work here. One is they don't believe in the system. Two is they don't know the system. So we got people who have no idea of what government does or how it works, and they also want to dismantle it at the same time. So they're their own worst enemies in that way. But what I cannot get my mind around is how we can sit here as a nation, and there are people who vote for these people.
Yeah,
there are people who vote for them for specific issues, And I cannot get my mind around how, 80 or 90% of this country believes that we should have guns reform, believes that assault weapons should be banned, and yet it's not happening.
Yeah.
The problem is we are not making our government responsible to us and what we want.
Right.
And by the way, they're also just a party of the past, right? And this of Trump and the election lie. This story I loved. Despite padding his win-loss record by primarily endorsing Republican incumbents who face little or no opposition, Trump's drubbing in Georgia on Tuesday shows his vaunted king-making power is no match for popular office holders in Idaho, Nebraska, most significantly Georgia this past week. Trump's attempts to punish Republicans who didn't show him sufficient loyalty have flopped, results that are certain to encourage others in his party to further weaken his stranglehold. My sense is that Trump's endorsement is worth less now than it was 3 months ago. It will be worth even less 3 months from now than it is now. His endorsements reveal less of a lion and more of a rooster who takes credit for repeated sunrises that would have happened with or without crowing. But, oh my God, Kemp beat Purdue 74 to 22%. That was even way more than the 30% he was supposed to win by, right? Trump similarly tried to take out Georgia Attorney General. He won by 74% to 26%. Trump's recruited challenger Jody Heiss to Brad Raffensperger also lost 52% to 33%. Alabama's he wanted governors like Alabama's Kay Ivey and Idaho's Brad Little to do audits, even of states he won, just to prove fraud or something. When they refused, Trump withheld an endorsement, or in Ivey's case back to challenger. They both easily won. So
yes,
he's always been a paper tiger, but there's continues to be this speculation that he's eyeing Elise Stefanik as his running mate, who, again, Buffalo Shooters Manifesto could be one of her campaign ads, So talk about letting, and she was supposed to be a moderate woman. Talk about letting, whether it's African-American people or women, to be used against your self-interest for this awful party, right?
I don't know why people can't understand this. The Trumpism only works for Trump.
Right.
Trump has never been a kingmaker. People will excuse it in him, not in other people. He's never been able to do that. And in the places where these Trump people have gotten in have been places that have so solidly read there was no chance of it happening otherwise. The reality here that I'm continually frustrated by is our unwillingness to simply say that Mitch McConnell is just a racist. That he's just racist and sexist. Why do we keep acting like they're only backing Trump because they don't want to lose? Why can't we ever just accept that maybe this is an agenda they actually agree with?
That's
and
right.
I love they said he definitely likes Elise Stefanik, likely because of how effusive she is to him. That's the only thing he cares about, right? Is how far up his ass your tongue is. I mean, that's it.
Oh goodness, you're working blue.
Oh, pardon me.
Keen insight.
Apologies for that.
Shrewd observation.
I apologize.
That's not working. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
They're having phone problems with.
Don't
phone.
touch any of them.
Don't touch any
that.
of it.
Sorry.
We don't have any calls. Sorry.
I'm gonna hit that anyway, just to clear it. Okay.
Okay.
Never mind. All right. Give me some Chris Murphy. I need it.
Got
Senator
it.
Chris Murphy.
Got it. Okay.
We are going to do two things. First, we are going to extend a hand of partnership to those who have been sitting on the sidelines, to those who have chosen to side with the gun lobby, and we are going to offer them a seat at the table. Right? Today, we will be engaged in bipartisan conversations to try to find a path forward to make our streets safer, to make our schools safer. And our goal and our hope and our belief is that we can find that common ground.
Here's the problem with common ground, Frangela. This has just become emblematic of who they are on the right. At a school in Fort Worth, Texas, they're apologizing for a career day presentation given by a Tarrant County deputy to kids mocking liberals for fearing AR-15 semi-automatic rifles a day after the massacre.
Wow.
He, deputy from the sheriff's office, gave a presentation to students that at some point included photos pulled up on Google Images. One of them, the poster was titled "A Liberal's Guide to the Deadly AR-15." I mean, this is, and meanwhile, again, tell us again about your good guys with a gun and how the cops are always right when you look at this. What just happened? How many men with guns were,
Our issue, we have a cultural issue in this country, which is a psychological issue. And, when we are teaching, when we have adults, again, you want to talk about priming. right?
Yep.
And priming children, that's priming children. That's desensitizing kids about, you're making more shooters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're walking into a school and telling kids, you know what, you should embrace this gun. Mm-hmm. Our culture is to love this, to not be afraid of it.
Yeah. No, exactly. Give me one more. Chris Murphy, Senator Murphy, this week.
We will be facilitated in finding that common ground by a popular uprising of citizens who are going to make clear that if you don't do the right thing here, you aren't coming back here. But if we don't succeed, we're having votes. We're putting people on the record, right? One way or the other, we're going to have a debate here. We are going to force people to tell America which side they are on.
This I thought was an extraordinary story, Frangela. A draft policy is circling among top officials in the U.S. Army that would allow soldiers to be able to request a transfer if they feel state or local laws discriminate against them based on gender, sex, religion, race, or pregnancy. It could be one of the most progressive policies for the Army, aimed at a growing wave of local anti-LGBT and restrictive contraception laws in conservative-leaning states where the Army has a majority of its bases and major commands. Some states are becoming untenable to live in. There's a rise in hate crimes and a rise in LGBT discrimination. People need to be able to do their job, know their families are safe. All of these states gets billions for bases, but barely tolerate a lot of the service members. I mean, how about the majority of us sane people just take back our country? So, we're not allowing half of our states to have crazy discriminative laws.
Does this also mean that? I'm sorry. Does this also mean that women can request not to be in those states where they have abortion laws?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's
what it said.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's like we're supposed to be one country, one manifest destiny, right?
Right.
From end to end, tip to top. But yet, we're talking about forcing women especially, or people who, in the military, who need to run away from their state, who need to immigrate from their state to have freedom.
Yeah. And I honestly, Frangela, maybe I'm, the happy clappy liberal, but I really do believe, as David Hogg said, I think this time is different only because of whether it's critical mass, tipping point, whatever you want to call it. I just feel like there is about to be an explosion in this country that people are tired of the majority being ruled by the minority. Mm-hmm. Whether it's on all of these issues, women's choice, our kids not having the freedom to go anywhere, let alone our kids go to school without being massacred. And I just feel like that can't hold for long, where 90% of the country want one thing and we continually cannot get it done.
But there's no more room to hide. There's no more places to hide, because as we know, if 1 out of 4 women are having abortions, there are people who are hiding. There are people who are taking advantage of civil rights, as they should, while trying to take them away from other people. So there's no place to hide anymore. I believe we're in an open civil war, and this is what happens when you don't take care of problems.
What does Frangela say every week? No, not the boo-boo, the fool, not the pony, not the rice. You stop recruiting at Klan meetings. Get the half the country that doesn't vote to vote. When you hear one person go, I don't do politics, you better, because politics is going to do you. Because when your kid gets massacred at school or your daughter gets raped and can't get an abortion, politics just did you.